Bulldogs have taken the lead with 106 left to play.
To the end zone, touchdown.
This young man is amazing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our podcast, Inside the Climb, brought to you by Aztec Link and the We Believe Network. As always, I'm Kylie Freeland. Alongside me, Jack Powers, Caleb Davis, and Sam Popper. Welcome back, you guys.
Good morning.
Pleasure to be back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't believe it's already episode 4.
I know.
Oh, man.
God, it's been flying by.
How has the pod life been treating you guys?
Sam, you want to lead us off there?
Yeah, we're all picking tricks up as we go here, trying to get better day to day. Once I get the mic settled, I can usually get in a rhythm, but sometimes that takes quite a while.
Yeah.
No, it's been great, though. We've heard a lot of great feedback. And, again, it's just another avenue, another way for us to share our story. So, been having a blast with you guys.
Yeah, it's been fun. The time's going by fast. Like, it's funny. It's like every couple of days it feels like we're about to, like...
Right? Do a podcast?
Do another one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anything new going on the recruiting side? As last week we talked about your guys' structure as GMs, but now we're kind of diving into this recruiting side. We dove into it just a little bit last week, not too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm excited to kind of showcase a little bit of the more, rather than structure, hit more of the day-to-day. So, like, okay, when we say this person got this job and this job, what does that actually look like? So we got 2 great guests coming on that I'm really excited about with Director of Player Personnel Sean Dillon and Recruiting Coordinator CJ Pollard. So those will be 2 great guests with their own personalities and their own day-to-day that I'm really excited to kind of dive into a little bit.
And normally when we talk about day-to-day, like, it always comes with, like, fun and just unique stories about different programs and jobs you had and different departments you were a part of. And usually being able to just kind of talk about those stories, like, makes this a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
How big is the recruiting department?
So we've got 6 full-timers.
Wow.
So the 2 GMs that we've talked about within our structure, me at GM, Sam as associate GM, and then we have Sean Dillon as our director of player personnel. We got CJ Pollard and Kyle Spalding as our 2 recruiting coordinators, and Taylor Johnson. She's our director of on-campus recruiting coordinator, who helps divvy up all the itineraries, all the actually scheduling a kid's visit.
Yeah, typically that's kind of the structure you're getting now at most schools, where you have kind of someone doing offense and someone doing defense. So Kyle and CJ kind of split their job up, and then Dilly really helps us and plays a big role in kind of marrying, like, what Caleb and I are doing with just kind of like the day-to-day high school recruiting process, because he's got a tough job in terms of, like, managing all of that. At some places there will be 2 or 3 people kind of in that job, but Dilly's a tank and does an awesome job for us in that way.
And
Absolutely.
for people watching who might not know, could you kind of explain what recruiting is in a few sentences and what kind of all of you guys do together and how you work as a unit?
Yeah, like, just kind of how you find people and, evaluate, and really a lot of it is just kind of working with the coaches, and how do you structure their evaluations and marry that with what we do within, our own department. And then from there, like, how do we communicate with the players? How do we schedule? How do we gather information? It's usually a lot of stuff to cover, which is sometimes why, splitting it down offense and defense has kind of been the way I think that's, become a little bit more common, is because that way you can kind of, instead of having certain parts of the process that are kind of spread out between multiple people, you can kind of just break it down pretty simple. Like, all right, you take offense and you take defense. Like, I hadn't really heard of that until I got to Oregon, when I was basically in Kyle's role, like, kind of just basically doing recruiting for offense. And then we had a guy, Eli Mandel, who did it for defense. And then, like, I just felt like that structure worked really well. So I was kind of glad when we kind of did it here.
Absolutely. And Sam, what do you usually say? It's identification, evaluation, and communication? Or is
pillars?
Yeah, like ID eval and organization pre and post eval. Constant communication following the progression, and then in person.
So that's kind of like the easiest, quickest way to communicate, okay, what does a recruiting process do? We identify the prospects, we evaluate or help evaluation with the coaches, and then after the evaluation, you got to, like, rank them on the board, do different things, and then it's just what's the constant communication to eventually get them on campus and get them to be future Aztecs.
Right, and the goal, I think, no matter where you are, is, like, there's so many prospects that now come onto your radar from different coaches and handlers and people that work with different players all over the country. I think back then, like maybe 6-7 years ago, it was you call the coaches who are the players at your school, you go area recruiting. Now it's different. Now these high schools have recruiting coordinators, and their job is at Palm Tree High School, right? Random non-existent school at Palm Tree High School, right? They'll have a recruiting coordinator, and their job is to get these kids at Palm Tree recruited. So they'll hit Caleb and I all the time and say, hey, here are my guys, yada, yada, yada. So it's like, how do you kind of filter through that? And how do you make your work as efficient as possible so that you're not doing a whole bunch of groundwork on players that it never really made sense to recruit anyway? Mm-hmm. And, like, you're always going to have a lot of that because, like, how else do you find the guys instead of, like, having a wide-ranging search? But if you can be as efficient as possible in knowing when to not recruit players anymore, that's usually the best way to go about it, and that's usually kind of where, like, good recruiting departments are like, pretty successful.
Well, I know when Sean Lewis came in, he was really big about getting recruits from the San Diego area to commit to San Diego State. How involved are you two in that process of making sure you are getting homegrown talent to stay home?
Absolutely. I think, first off, Sean Dillon and his staff, because there's a little bit of a separation. We're all together, but Dilly really spearheads a lot of that high school recruiting. Mm-hmm. They do a phenomenal job of making sure the local talent's discovered, but also venturing, across the country in different places to make sure we've got the best, biggest recruiting boards possible, that as people fall off, it's okay. We've still got our second tier option right here. So within the city of San Diego, though, we're super, super, like I take pride in not necessarily being like the best to recruit it, but we better be the best to evaluate it. Because there may be kids in the city that, for whatever reason, they want to leave, or for whatever reason, they've got this other dream school that they've always wanted to go to. That's okay. Sometimes, some of those kids aren't always a fit. It doesn't align. But we better know about them. We better have done the research. We have better communicated with them. And again, if it happens, it happens. Recruiting, you never know where you're going to dig up, what's going to end up happening. But you better know about them, and you better do your due diligence. So that's the one thing that I think we've gotten even better and better each year, to where it's really paying off with this high school class and kind of the relationships we're building in the future.
And I just want to point out too, that's not just high school, like that's players across college football, right? Like when those guys enter the portal, it's our job to have some awareness, is like, oh, this guy's from San Diego, let's see if he wants to come
I've noticed
home,
that.
right?
I've noticed
like,
that.
There's a fair amount. I mean, shoot, like people don't remember, like Tano Latuli was like, didn't start his high school career at San Diego State, right? He was at Army. Good call, Jack, by the way. You know your stuff. Right, and Coach Lewis brings him back, so I don't know if that's something that many of our fans know about, but again, that's another like huge part of it.
Of course. Well, you two, right, have been across the country, been in recruiting departments at all these various colleges. What has been the most difficult part of the recruiting process? Maybe there's some stories in there as well.
I think the most difficult part, and it's not really, like, difficult's not the right word, but I think it kind of hits what you're asking on, is just finding out what fits at each school. Because again, we've all been different places. The kids that fit at Cincinnati and that help have that program success weren't necessarily the kids that fit into what we're building at Notre Dame. And those kids didn't necessarily fit there. And those kids didn't necessarily fit over at San Diego State. So there's a lot of work that goes into it to figure out, okay, what is our program's identity? What has created success in the past of Aztec football? And how do we continue to emulate that? Because I'm a big believer that gosh, what's the quote? It's something about knowing the past, and if you don't know the past, then history is bound to repeat itself.
Oh yeah, what is it like the biggest indicator of future performance is
past
success?
Yes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes. No,
we're not
exactly
quotations. So
yeah.
We're around there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But essentially, like, I'm a big believer in studying the past, studying what works, because again, college football changes every single year. It's going to continue to change every single year. But if you don't think college football is changing in the 60s, 70s, 80s, like, you're out of your mind. Like, there's a path to success everywhere you're at. So you better know it, you better study it, and you better try your best to emulate it and just pick little processes apart and improve it every year.
I think the hardest part is opportunity cost. Like the idea that you spend a lot of time on a ton of players that not only are you not going to win, which is like a whole other part of this, but that you're not going to, like, it's not smart to win in the end. Like, there are, I don't want to obviously say names because these aren't like the fun stories, right? But there are countless kids that you recruit and you love early on in the process, and then for whatever reason you don't love them as much later on. And when is the right moment to pull that plug knowing that A, that's like a tough relationship to break, and B, and more importantly, like all the work you did leading up to that now is quote unquote wasted, right? Like, do you have it in your, I don't know, do you have it in your toolbox, your personality? Do you have the courage to basically kind of admit that work wasn't worthwhile and move on rather than continuing to invest? I'm pretty sure that's what opportunity cost means.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad. Sometimes we all
Last
just
week,
need
what was it, Genesis?
Yeah, Genesis. This week, sometimes we all just need.
you're not an economist. You're just a
Yeah,
podcaster.
sometimes we all just need confirmation from our friends on Pod Life. But yeah, that's the hardest part. And there's that part, and then obviously there's the aspect of, from a competition standpoint, like you don't want to lose.
Right.
You know, like we're all in this because we want to win. You know, we could have jobs of evaluating players, whether it be for, you know, different media companies or different, you know, scouting companies or different things outside of the sport itself. Part of the reason, like, and I know Caleb, I can speak for you because we talk about this all the time. Part of the reason why we're both in this is because, like, we want to be part of a team and win, right? So that's kind of the hardest part sometimes, is being able to, like, admit defeat. And I don't want to get back to the old kind of quote game, but, like, Sun Tzu, who is, I guess, a legend, and he's got the quote of, like, you know, the best warriors know when not to fight. And I'm sorry, you know, Mr. Tzu and his family, like, that probably wasn't the right quote, but it's something to that nature. And, like, you got to know that in recruiting. You got to know when to battle, when to not battle, when to take a step back. And when you put in a lot of time in a kid, sometimes that's really, really difficult to, like, admit defeat. Or decide, you know what, it's probably not worth it anymore. And I think the teams that struggle the most are the ones that fall in love with players that it just, from the outside, just doesn't make sense.
Right.
And that prevents them from then spending the time evaluating our local backyard, or who's that kid we said no to 5 or 6 months ago. And, you know, let's just revisit that and just make sure we were wrong there. You know, or make sure we were right there. We weren't wrong. Like, that's the stuff.
And the funny thing, that kind of piggybacks off of the fit. Like,
Yeah.
you do all this work only to find out the kid's not a fit, rather than try to make a square peg fit in a round hole. Like, no, go find the next best round piece that will fit in. Go find the next best fit, because there's more than enough fits out there. You just got to go find them.
That's hard. Teams struggle with that all the time. I mean,
Well,
all the time.
Now you add in the transfer portal and the new changes that have come up there. How more difficult has that made it? Where you bring in all these guys, it's a big class, and then
It's
they're gone
funny.
after one year.
I actually think it makes it easier.
Wow.
Because now you're forced to recruit honestly, genuinely, and again, if there's any part of a lie within the recruiting process that kid steps foot on campus and it's not what he expected, you're gonna leave after the year. Yeah. So it forces you to just be who you are, which for us, like, we're really, really blessed to have a head coach that's one of the most honest, genuine, transparent human beings in this world. That again, like, when that aligns top to bottom throughout the whole recruiting process, like, some people say it's harder. I say it's easier, because it just forces the good ones to be out in front on it.
It's easier when you know you're fit.
Yes.
If you don't know you're fit, it becomes a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there. Like, not as much for everybody. And if you're trying to kind of play in between two identities, you're going to struggle, right? Like, sometimes it's best to, like, have a bunch of people rowing in the same direction, no matter what that direction is. Just pick an identity and roll with it, rather than kind of trying to. I like that. Just putting a square peg in a round hole. You know, trying to kind of find a fit when you don't really have one. That's a big part of it. Caleb, I want to ask you, like, you know, I always admired, like, the head coaches that you've worked for. Like, you know, what are some of the things that, you know, you've learned from some of those guys over the course of your career that kind of helped you develop your identity as a recruiter now?
Man, honestly, probably more than anything, it was at Notre Dame with Coach Freeman, with Chad Bowden, two of great mentors of mine, great people, great friends. Like, rather than try to recruit a certain way and again, make Notre Dame sexy or this or that, like, no, it was like, if you choose Notre Dame, it's going to be the hardest decision of your life. You're going to have to come here, fight through the snow, go to class, no online classes, but because of everything you chose, because of everything you do, it's going to end up being the greatest decision of your life, because you chose 4 years of struggle, 4 years of harder where you work for it, that then's going to make you the best version of yourself. And that was something that again, right from the jump, you look at it, it's like, well, that's not the best way to recruit. That's not going to get the best kids here. It's like, no, it's not meant to get the best kids here. It's meant to get the right ones here. And because of that, that's something I've taken now ever since I've been here. And that's why I'm so big on fit. Fit is the most underrated thing that people forget about in the recruiting process. But if you can identify your fit, you can find your fit, and you can honestly recruit to your fit. Again, back to the rowing example, you're going to have a group of 105 roster all rowing in the same direction rather than maybe a more talented 105, but half of them are rowing this way, half of them are rowing that way. It ain't going to work.
Right.
Now, what about you, Sam?
Yeah.
You got any tidbits that you've kind of shaped your philosophy?
Yeah, I'll maybe point to Coach Cristobal specifically for our time together at the University of Oregon. And the one thing I kind of learned from him that I hadn't really learned before in the process is just sheer relentlessness. Like, he was really, really good at just outworking other people in the process. And I learned from him that that's really possible in recruiting. You can go the extra mile without just telling a kid everything they want to hear, but you could go the extra mile to show somebody that you really want them more than another school. How do you create certain content to send and think outside the box and, create different messages that, are going to make prospects think about different things, target specific members of the family, brand your school in the ways you want them to, brand your program in the ways you want them to. Like, he would always say, wake them up and put them to sleep, right? Like, right. That was with some sort of recruiting material so that right before they sleep and right after, they're doing something to think about our team. And that has always kind of shaped me, in addition to everything that Caleb just talked about from like a process standpoint. I always try to think that way. But there is an element to trying to outwork teams too, and I feel like I really kind of learned that from him.
So, he showed it this last year. Going
Yeah,
all the way to the Natty.
There'd be specific staff meetings that, like, if you ever went into a staff meeting, like if anyone ever wants to work for Coach Cristobal at Miami, and you go into a staff meeting, you're like, yeah, Coach, this guy's doing great. I last talked to him 4 days ago. Like, he will not be
I'll let you know.
He won't say, like, please and thank you, right? Like, that's just kind of how he operates. Like, you just can't do that working for him. And, again, it just goes to Caleb's point, like, was that originally kind of my style? No, but because that's how that head coach ran things at that specific university, it worked because we all followed his lead.
It shapes you.
And that's the whole point, right? That's exactly what we're doing here with Coach Lewis. It's what works best with the head coach. How does he specifically want to recruit and build the program? And then our job is to recruit and build the program in that way. Everybody's got different ideas and philosophies to throw to the table. But again, the biggest part of it is different ideas become one decision, and that one decision becomes our decision. And now, no matter what we all thought coming in, right, like, this is our decision, this is how San Diego State is going to operate. And boom, we're all behind it.
Well, I think that's a perfect segue to bring in CJ and Dilly. Hear their ideas.
Let's do it.
Their thoughts are on recruiting. Before we get back to the show, we want to tell you all about the best way to stay connected with everything happening around San Diego State athletics and Aztec football.
That's right. If you're enjoying the We Believe Players podcast, there's even more content waiting for you through the We Believe Network Substack.
A subscription gives you access to every episode of the We Believe Players podcast, plus exclusive featured stories on current SDSU athletes and future Aztecs.
You'll also get recruiting coverage all year long. We're talking high school player tracking, player performances, recruiting rankings, official visit updates, commitment news, and much more.
If you want a deeper look into the players, the program, and the future of Aztec football, this is where you need to be.
And the best part, it's just $6.99 per month, which is less than the cost of a drink on game day.
Getting signed up is easy. Just click the link in the description of this episode or the link in our social media bios.
Once you're there, hit the subscribe button and you'll instantly have access to all the content.
Exclusive podcasts, player stories, recruiting intel, behind-the-scenes coverage, and year-round updates from around the Mesa.
It's the easiest way to support the We Believe Network while staying connected to the athletes, coaches, and recruits shaping the future of SDSU athletics.
Again, for just $6.99 a month, you'll never miss a story.
Subscribe today through the link in the description or our bios.
We'll see you on the We Believe Network, and right back to the show.
All right, well, you guys, this is a perfect way for us to introduce the closer.
No.
Coach CJ Pollard, owner of 30 total tackles in college football, 1 pass defense, a half sack.
Something
CJ,
like that.
a half sack, no big deal, right?
Something like that.
4.58 40-yard dash, 4.3 shuttle. CJ, that's pretty damn good.
That's all.
32.9 vert. Caleb, you listening to this? 37.5 power throw, and a 99.03 spark rating. CJ Pollard, welcome to the pod,
I
bro.
appreciate you
I'd
for
offer.
having me.
I'd
appreciate
closer,
it.
man.
That's a take.
Closer.
I'm gonna take. All
That's a
right.
top of the board guy right there.
I appreciate that, man. I didn't make enough plays in my career. That's why I'm sitting here right now. I didn't do enough.
CJ, the dog check made more than enough plays, bro.
Okay. I'll take it. I just feel like I left a lot out there, but I'm here now. I'm here.
You're here now.
I'm in a better space. I love it. Cleats are off. Coach's hat is on. So,
Now, actually, I do have one question for you. Do you think, like, how much of your playing career, your experience, obviously getting the taste of the professional experience, helps you relate to these kids that we're recruiting out of high school?
yeah, I just feel like I see so much of myself in these kids. Like, I was right there on the brink, like, obviously just, going through the same process as a high school recruit and getting to the college level and playing with some of the top players in the nation, and some of those guys went on, and I just feel like myself, I was just right there, and I can relate a lot to these kids by telling them what it takes to get there, and what other people were doing in their process, and just being able to relate just from stories that dudes probably have that are similar to mine. So that's really where I say I relate to a lot of these kids, just knowing exactly what they're about to get themselves into.
When you signed with USC out of high school, how different was that world than it is now?
Oh, way different, man. They weren't passing out these bags like that. These dudes are getting 1.5, 3 million over 2, and 4 million, and like Monopoly, like, it's crazy. Like,
How much do you think you would have been paid as a freshman
no doubt.
out of high
man,
school?
I don't know. Like a safety coming from Sarah. So I hope I would have got 6 figures. Not a high 6 figure, but somewhere. I hope they would have got me 6 figures too, somewhere in there. I don't know if they would have paid the safety $1 million. Who knows? I don't know.
CJ, when you finished in the spring league, and when was the decision there of like, oh, okay, let me go try and like work in the coaching side, in the recruiting side? Like, how did that all go?
So honestly, like, as soon as the spring league, because that kind of ended kind of shortly too. Like, it was a 4-game season. COVID was just, we're only gonna be able to do 4 games, and then they didn't plan on restarting anything after that. So I was just like, you know what, let me just get into it. So I remember being on my buddy's couch when I came back from Texas after the spring league, and I was just texting as many coaches as I can. And I saw a post that went up from UNLV, and it was a flyer. It was like an internship or something like that. And Geiska Crowley was the director of recruiting at times, and he just was like, yeah, I'll take your help.
You worked with guys.
Yeah. He's like, I'll take your help. So I was flying back and forth on my own from Los Angeles all the way to Vegas during the week because it was so cheap still COVID.
Was this in 21?
This is 21. This is the top of 21. It's still COVID prices. So, like, you can get a hotel room in Vegas
I remember that.
for like $20
Bro,
a night.
did you go to, they had this in Geiska, and basically UNLV and Nevada kind of like started this together.
Mm-hmm.
Basically the like West Coast recruiting symposium, and it was like right in Vegas.
Yep,
you
it
remember
was.
that?
Yep.
And we literally toured your facility. Bro, I was there.
You was there? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I must
Yeah.
have like met you to some degree over there.
We probably had to. I was shaking so many hands and just running into so many people.
I remember that hotels were like $28.
Yep.
I was telling
That was
Geiska,
cheap.
he was trying to get me to go.
Yep.
And I was like, bro, like, I really don't think I'm gonna be able to afford it. He's like, no, seriously, like, I'll
It's
pay
cheap.
for your hotel. And I was like, no, don't do that. And he's
Yeah.
like, seriously, like, it's 25. And I
Yeah,
was like,
it's
well,
less
shit,
than
then
that.
I'll just pay for my hotel.
Yeah, it wasn't, and then the flights, RIP Spirit, but like
No
that
doubt.
was that was like $37 from LA to Vegas.
Yeah,
Like,
So you're
bro.
basically paying for an Uber just to get out
just to
there.
get. I'm going to Vegas. I'm
It was
thinking,
unbelievably cheap at that time.
yeah, I'm going to Vegas whenever I want. Like,
For a
I was
period
so-
of like 8
yeah.
months, we had like figured out like flight and hotel
Yep.
costs in this country.
Yep, it was good. Like $200, I
No
could make
doubt.
it through the week.
That's wild. I
Like,
didn't realize that. So I definitely have met you probably at that point.
For sure.
That's
we had
dope.
to run
Really
into
cool.
each other at that event. We
Really
had
cool.
to. That's crazy. I did not know that. Like,
Yeah, so
thinking
that
that far
was how
back. Yeah.
I got to know Geiska, and we kind of just,
Yeah, I was helping him with
That's crazy.
doing just just cleaning up, register, whatever he had me doing that day. It was some grunt work, but I remember literally being there and just trying to get involved and do whatever it takes to just be a part of it. And that was actually supposed to be an internship for students only. But I was telling, I'm available like a student, like I can be there all the time. And I remember that internship kind of only lasted from about the spring to about July when most coaches go on vacation. And then it was like, you coming back? And I was just like, I got to figure some things out in life because it was just so hard to try to just keep going back and forth. So then I jumped into being a coach later that year. So half the year, 2021, was in UNLV as an intern. The other half, I started my coaching career back at Sarah High School. So.
And when did from there you hop back into the college fish?
So after that 2021 season, I'm back on the couch trying to figure out life again. I'm texting and tweeting every coach that's following me, and hey, you got an opportunity, doing anything, you got anything open? One coach hit me back, and it was Matt Coombs from UC Davis. I thank him all the time because he returned my message and gave me a fancy title. You're gonna be an analyst, and I thought I was like, ooh, like this is. I skipped the GA stuff, not knowing that I'm still a GA. Like but he was like, I'll make you my defensive analyst. So I did that with him, and it was cool because he showed me a lot of stuff, just breaking film down, like the ins and outs and the operation part of it, recruiting landscape, just like really learning how to get organized and like seeing what all really goes into being. I tell people all the time, Davis is a perfect place where you learn how to be a coach, you learn how to work in this field. Like they gave me a lot of chances to grow. They teach you a lot as well. They teach you great people too. They mentor you all the way through. So shout out to Coach Dan Hawkins as well, man. Coach Cody Hawkins as well, man. I love that family. They took me in. They let me eat at their house on Easter. So
Awesome.
That's awesome.
When you were a coach, did you spend a lot of time doing the recruiting side of it too?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
you feel like that helped you, giving you
yeah.
some perspective and being back on this side of it now?
Yeah, that's crazy. Like it just happened so naturally. Like as soon as I got announced that I was gonna be coaching, so many people just like, hey, we want to come up and visit. Hey, we want to come see you on campus. So getting kids on campus and all that stuff just kind of just came natural. Like just the influence of me just being hired. It was just like the relationship piece of it, the connecting. So many people just got my number out of nowhere and like, yeah, come on up, yeah. So it was like I was just getting hit from just different angles, left and right, about different coaches and 7-on-7 coaches and trainers just wanted to all bring their kids up to get recruited and get in front of some coaches. So that stuff came so natural to me. Like I got so tied into that. I remember like we had a junior day one day and we had practice and they needed the film to get broken down still, and they was like, hey, we still gotta get the film broken down. And I'm like, oh, I'm with this family right now, and I'm chilling. I'm taking them around on a tour. And they're like, okay, don't worry about it. You do that. You do a good job at that, CJ. Anyway, like we need somebody to do that. So at that time too, like being in the FCS, they didn't have a real recruiting department, so they leaned on coaches to like kind of be good recruiters as well. So that's where I kind of served a double purpose. I was kind of like doing some director of recruiting stuff over there just at Davis without even knowing.
So the staff that I was at Howard in 2019, there were a lot of names of coaches that are in great spots now, whether it's Vic Hall at Virginia Tech or Mark Baycoat, who Air Force, or Sam Daniels, now UCLA. We'll go see him in week 2. There were a lot of really good coaches there that have gone on to do great things, and it's funny, like, and Merch, your boy Merch. Yeah,
Merch.
Shout out Merch.
Shout out New York, Merch. Yeah. New York.
I'll bet you he's so excited about the Knicks right now.
New York, the go-go.
But it's the... but it's the idea that I think you're right. Like at the FCS level, you really learn from a coaching perspective the foundation of how to really recruit because you have to.
You have to, and then you don't get the best like kids that you see. You got to kind of really do a lot of digging. I say recruiting is a lot harder, and you got to really go do some digging, and it's a lot of more strategy that goes into that too. Like when I was up there, they didn't offer during this window of time. Like it was like we put our board together and. Obviously dudes start coming off that board because they're good and they see what you see as well around the country. But it was like, okay, we're going to wait because we don't want our guys to blow up too fast, or we want to kind of be, secretive about these guys that we are recruiting so we can have a chance to actually sign them when it comes down to signing day and nobody sees them. So that was huge. That was huge.
Before we get back to Inside the Climb, we want to remind you that the countdown to San Diego State football is officially on.
This season marks the beginning of a new era as the Aztecs prepare for their first year in the new Pac-12 conference.
The home schedule is finalized. It all starts with Portland State before one of the nation's top Group of 5 programs from last season, James Madison, comes to Snapdragon Stadium.
Then conference play arrives with Texas State, Washington State, Utah State, and the rivalry game against the team up north.
And don't forget, Pac-12 After Dark is coming to the Mesa. Big games, packed crowds, and a chance to be part of history as San Diego State begins its new chapter.
Don't miss a moment. Secure your season tickets today and be there for every touchdown, every big play, and every unforgettable night under the lights.
Visit the SDSU Athletics website or click the link in the show notes to get your season tickets now.
And then talk about your journey from, it was a straight from UC Davis to Sac State. And Sac State was FCS when you got there?
No.
Or were
So
they FBS then?
So from UC Davis, I went back to UNLV. So people don't know. Like I tell people, like, yeah, internship was, like, that's not even on the resume really, because it's
under the radar.
Yeah, that wasn't the first internship. But then after UC Davis, you know, I did that for a year, and then I got tied in with Brennan Marion, luckily through Coach Pinky. Shout out to Coach Ivan. He's down at Mater Dei now coaching the DBs, but he was just telling me one day, he was like, hey man, if you want to jump in this thing, like, and you want to take it to that next level, I got a position for you. It's at UNLV. And I was like, man, I was just there, man. Like are they gonna pay me? Like, he's like, yeah, it's a GA job. I was like, really? Okay, now I'm interested. Like, and he was saying, but it's on offense. Now me, I'm a defensive guy the whole time. Like, man, offense, like that. What value am I going to have? He's like, you're going to work with the receivers, you know, you're going to kind of break down the DBs, and you're going to give a whole different perspective on that side. So I thought about it, and, you know, I talked to Coach Marion, got me on the phone, and it was funny. Like, Marion, he was like, what's up, dog? Like, you ready to do this? Like, it was no interview. It was like, all right, I need you here Monday. Like, I was like, dang, all right. So I guess I'm starting, like, you know, like, he was like, did you call him? This is Coach Pinky telling me. I'm like, yeah, he told me, like, I'll start on Monday. I was like, I didn't know it was going to go this fast. And he's like, I told you, he's looking for a GA. So, you know, nobody wanted to take the job. I'm talking about, like, it was harsh, bro. I'm talking about $600 every 2 weeks. I'm like 26 years old. You know what I mean? I got boys in the league making millions and stuff. And I'm just sitting here just like, I'm a college coach, man. Like, I'm a college coach. I don't care what nobody says. It's the best feeling in the world. Like I said, the recruiting still picked up even heavier there now. Like, people was like, oh yeah, I definitely come to Vegas. I want to get on campus. Like, well, what does it take to get offered? You know, so that's when I started meeting a lot of the handlers of the world, and the 7-on-7 coaches of the world, and all different people who's handling kids. Like, they all wanted to just come up to Vegas and bring their kids to get recruited as well. But it was just really linking up with Coach Marion via Coach Pinky, man. He looked out a lot, man. Just from there, Marion took me with him to Sacramento State the minute he got that opportunity. It was just like, okay. But that's where it got different, because I'm his offensive GA at the time. And I'm not a receiver guy, so it was like, okay. He calls me. He's like, yo, you coming with me? But
and that's his position.
Yeah, that's his position.
Receivers
yeah, he was like, I got a job for
you.
Yeah. And it was crazy, because I'm like, what's he going to have me doing? Because he's like, I got a job for you, but you're not going to be coaching. Like, I'm going to put you in recruiting. And I was like, okay. He's like, I think you'll kill it there. You'll shine. And just do what you got to do. Help me get the brand out there. Help me get the logo out there. Get the right kids on campus. Like, I know you know what you're doing. Like, you know, just make these connections, build these bridges, and let's make something shake.
You shined enough to get on the radar of one Caleb Davis.
Oh man, I got lucky, man. I tell him every day, saved my life. He knows that inside joke, but you know.
CJ saved my life. Don't get it twisted.
You know, and really saving my life. You know, coming back down there. My wife was from the Southern California side of it, and just being back in San Diego was perfect for us, because we needed some support. We just had our baby. Like, she can use her. Yeah, baby.
What sport she gonna play?
Oh man, she's 5-star already. I don't know.
5-star.
Track and field for sure. Her mom was in track and field, so hopefully we'll have her out there. First Olympian at what, 16, 15, whatever.
No, you still got some years to go, bro.
Yeah, whatever. We're going for it. I'm stretching her out every night, even though I'm training her. I'm making sure she's flexible and mobile. Like,
you want to tell the listeners how old is baby girl?
10 months. 10 months. 10 months. So I'm stretching her. I'm making sure she's flexible.
Ain't
And
never too early, bro.
all the joints is moving proper and everything.
That's
so
right.
we're just trying to make sure that she's got what it
Yeah,
takes
it's ready to go.
to get to that
Well,
gold
you know she's
medal.
got what it takes. She got the apologies.
Yeah. I
She
mean,
got time. She got no time to waste,
We're
bro.
gonna miss the 28 Olympics probably, but we'll be there for
No
the
doubt, bro.
36 hopefully or something like whatever that number. Yeah,
Yep,
we'll
absolutely.
be there for that one. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be there. We'll be there. I'll be the trainer as well. I'll be the manager. I'll be everything. The agent. I'll make sure.
Be in the GM meeting, bro.
I will.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be there. I will make
That's
sure everything's right.
That's incredible.
But yeah, that's how I kind of really. That's how I got there. I got
In case
here.
you're curious.
And I do want to. Oh, good.
I was just gonna say the 2036 Olympics are in India, just in case.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll
Sorry,
get there.
we go back
We gotta get a passport.
No.
We gotta get a
Yep.
passport this year.
Yeah, get a passport.
That way, yep, we'll get our passports. Yep.
I'm sorry, Caleb.
But no, I was just gonna talk because you kind of teed it up a little bit about how obviously CJ got onto my radar, and it's funny because it's one of the stories where, man, you just treat people right in everything you do, and things find a way to come back around. Because I remember when Marion had just left to go to Colorado, we'd gotten connected, knew some of the same people that were at Sac State, and I'm always a big advocate of giving back because I grew up, I didn't have family in coaching, I didn't play, it was essentially an equipment manager that just kept doing a good job around good people and kind of found my own way. So, so I'm a big advocate of just taking the phone calls, giving advice, and we'd connected right at that point. And then it was maybe 2 weeks later, Tana Vea, our old defensive recruiting coordinator, which one of the greatest human beings I've met in my life, took the Weber State running backs coaching job and recruiting coordinator. So shout out Tana Vea. He's a phenomenal human being. But immediately, first person that clicked in my mind is like, man, how can we get CJ on staff? Like, I knew obviously your ties in the LA area, but your experience as a player, you'd be able to relate with these kids. But again, you don't really know that much. So as you go through, like I've got a file of, potential candidates, this or that maybe one day a job will line up, an opportunity will line up. But then as I started to go through just people that we both knew, Brandon Huffman, now with On3, great writer, great human being, great friend. He had shared, his experience with you about everything you did through with Avery as she was going through and your commitment. And every single person I asked, the first thing they talked about was, man, he'd be amazing, phenomenal human being. He cares. He loves what he does. He does it with an infectious energy that I hope this podcast can already feel so far. And man, I'm just super blessed to have you part of the team and have you part of this journey because I think we're gonna do some special things together. Man. And again, it all circles around just good people, man.
Man, I appreciate that, man. B Huff is a good dude, man. When that stuff went down, my dad, it wasn't all my idea, but I remember we was looking at it all at the same time. I was like, man, I hate this for B Huff. B Huff is a good dude. He covers a lot of my recruiting. And I was like, how can we represent him? So we made a moment very special for him at the Nike opening where before I committed, you put a hat on. I had a hat on already, a Nike hat, and it said bravery, Avery, but I put a B in front of it, so it was bravery. And then before I committed, I took that hat off and put the SC hat on. So that was something I just wanted to let them know, like, I'm here with you, fighting what you're fighting, and we're fam. And I love B Huff. I love his son that's in the recruiting department over at A-State right now, killing it, doing a great job. But it's just everybody, his wife, family, everybody, man. Good dude.
But it's funny, too, because the same sentiments that B Huff had on you, it was every single person I asked, whether it was Zach, whether it was Geishka, like, believe it or not, Geishka, I call him, and he raved about you. He's like, this dude was paying his own way to come here and volunteer. But all those stories, like, you never know what's going to come back and help you get a job or help you build a connection and a relationship. So, again, like, that's one of the things, like, the thing I'm most proud of in this entire recruiting department is that it's all good people that are all rowing together to find a way.
Oh, yeah, man. I think everybody in this department wants to be number one. Everybody wants to bring in the best recruits, and that's who I am. I take it personal if somebody's not trying to commit to the program.
No doubt.
What's going on? What's wrong?
No doubt.
What happened? Talk. So that's what I take pride in.
CJ, man. I'm curious about the job. Like, now that you're here working with us, like everything that you've done in your own experience, like what's something on this job day-to-day wise that's been new and different that you're kind of doing for the first time, and what's something in this job day to day that you're like, oh, that's my bread and butter. Like I've been doing this everywhere.
Yeah, the communication piece, bread and butter, like just, phone calls, all that stuff, staying in contact, getting coaches to connect with them, FaceTime, showing them practice, making custom videos, graphics, all that stuff is that's what I like to do too.
Just for the record, you're telling Jay Money to make the graphics.
Yeah, Jay Money's the guy too.
Okay.
Jay Money's got Jay Money
sure.
crashed my computer. He's got so much inputs on his details with his graphics. So when I do the Photoshop, I'm like, man, I need a work laptop because you got so much.
No doubt,
but he
man.
makes
The
it look great,
piling
man.
up.
Yeah, he makes it look great. So, but I just try to give him the idea, the theme, and I help him, by pushing those things out to all these recruits.
And for those listeners, Jay Money's the one shadows guy in the recruiting department where he might not be forward facing, but any of the graphics our kids get, anything,
that's all him.
Anything that's
The
forward facing, he does everything.
and all that stuff. So that was something that I was so used to, and then coming here was great too. Like you always want to go to a spot where you can learn. So like really learning more of the operational piece of it was huge here. Like just the receipts and stuff like that, putting coaches on maps, booking travel, booking all that stuff like that, and making sure that they're all situated, working with Anthony Travel, Concur, and all that good stuff. Like that was new to me. That was something I never had done in my career, but just having that responsibility, it makes me feel good. Like transcripts, uploading that stuff, and launching the workflow to make sure they're good with compliance and just knowing all that stuff, like, we had an international kid breaking those transcripts down. I was like, hey, yo, Caleb, I've never saw this in my life. What does this mean? Like, but those are experiences that I didn't have until I got here. And I was like, okay, man, I'm glad I had this. I can learn. So it helps you. So anytime a case or anything pops up in the future, it's like, hey, I got that. I know how to do that.
Done
like,
before.
I can do this, so.
Add something to the toolbox.
Exactly. So, like, obviously, the communication, the hype, the all that stuff, the energy piece, that was already checked. I know now the operational part of it, making sure that stuff is tied up, is something that I was like, man, I'm thankful.
How do you describe this job to somebody that doesn't work in football, never has? Like when they say, like, what do you do for San Diego State? Like, how do you respond to that?
Oh, man. I mean, really what it is some of the job is collecting information. Half of the job is knowing what's out there, knowing what you can get access to as far as kids. That's really what it is. But just recruiting these kids, knowing what their process is, knowing what's going on, knowing who's connected with them. I feel like that's my job, really, like kind of trying to help, because some of the coaches they get in there, they know they're good recruiters as well, but they have other things going on. So I try to just tell them some things that they might not know, or I get connections from the media to just, hey, what's going on with this kid, and just trying to always find things to stay ahead, and I also see what other programs are doing, and I'm like, okay, we need to imply that in our program. So I'm just trying to always stay up to date with this recruiting world and bring it to San Diego State. So whatever you see out there in the world, just know that I got my eyes on it, and I'm trying to do the same thing here. So it's really a lot. It's really a lot. It's a broad, because the seasons change up. So you might have unofficial season, official season, and it'll turn into game day. So everything changes by the season of what my job actually is, if that makes sense. So I work in seasons. Like I said, right now we're in official visit season. Things are flowing. I'm getting kids from the airport. I'm making sure that their families are having a good time. I'm making sure they're getting from meeting to meeting. I'm making sure they get to their photo shoot, provide the energy at the photo shoot, all that good stuff. I mean, that's what this season kind of looks like right now. Making sure they're paired up, having a good time while they're out in San Diego, for sure.
You knew he'd crush it on this, right?
Oh, absolutely. You kidding me?
Pod Life Pollard, you guys.
No.
Pod Life Pollard.
No.
That's the nickname.
No.
We've been looking for a nickname for CJ, and I think that's it. Pod Life Pollard.
Pod Life Pollard. I'll take it. I'll take whatever they give me.
That means he needs to come back a lot more.
I'm ready, man.
Pod Life Pollard, man.
You tell me whatever we got to do. Whatever the
Appreciate it,
subject
bro.
is, we'll crush it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you guys having me, man. I appreciate
course,
you.
man.
Thank you, man.
Pop, you the greatest.
I'm trying to get like you,
Caleb,
bro.
you saved my life.
But I'm not the greatest.
You're
Second
more than the
greatest.
greatest. You're more than the greatest. You're
There
more
you
than
go.
You're more than the greatest. The youngest in charge is what I say. That's him right here. The youngest in charge.
No, that's true.
I always tell him he's gonna be the next Jerry Jones when he goes over. He get the first call.
Jerry's world.
Nope. I want to be the next general manager
He
that
get the
leads
next
San Diego
call.
State to a national championship.
No, these guys.
Say Jerry Jones, man.
Man, I need some Rams tickets from you when you get there. And some Cowboy tickets from you when you get there. I'll be here at San Diego State probably just crushing the recruiting if.
Man, we're in this thing
y'all.
for life, dog.
I appreciate y'all. Man, for real.
Appreciate you, dude.
Thank you, man.
All day.
Check it.
All
Your
day.
team.